Cleardocs is a market-leading online provider to register a company. In this tutorial, we explain the process. It is fast and easy. We provide the legal documents you need, including your ACN. The process typically takes less than 20 minutes, and we provide a helpline on 1300 307 343 if you are having trouble. Before you can start, you will need to visit our website at www.cleardocs.com and register as a user. In the top banner, you will find a green Sign Up for Free button. In this case, we will log in with an existing user account. Once you are logged in, select Company Services from the left-hand vertical navigation and then Company Registration. This page provides more detailed information about registering a company, including frequently asked legal questions, a sample constitution, and information about the documents you receive. We also provide help text on the question interface to assist you with the answers. Look for the information icon beside a question. When you are ready to start, click Buy the product to begin your order. Enter client name and matter name. We ask for this information so you can distinguish between orders and quickly find this document in the future. Click Start Now. If you are registering a company for the first time with Cleardocs, then the next page answers commonly asked legal questions which only appear once. Once you are done reading them, click the button that says, "Click here to continue." This page outlines the three-stage process of registering a company. Once finished reading the information on this screen, you may click Continue. All questions must be answered as they are required by ASIC. The questions are broken into sections. You can see these sections on the left-hand side. Please remember to press the blue Save button as you are completing the questions. If you need to leave the application before you have finished answering the questions, scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save and Exit. Start by selecting a name for your company. On the question interface, we also provide a free company name search facility via the ASIC database. Through this system, you can see whether your chosen name is available for registration or not. If the name is unavailable, then you will need to choose another name that is available. Next, indicate whether you wish to register a domain name for the company you are registering. If selecting Yes, a search of available domain names will take place. Results of this search can be found directly below the question. In this instance, a domain name is not required. Then, indicate whether the company name has already been reserved with ASIC. If so, you will need to specify the reservation number previously issued by ASIC and the name of the entity that made the reservation. In this instance, we will select No. Indicate whether the proposed company name is identical to a registered business name. Should the answer be yes, there will be two questions. If the business name was registered before the 28th of May 2012, specify the registered business number from the old states and territory system for registering business names. If the business name was registered post the 28th of May 2012, specify the ABN. In this instance, we'll select No to this question. Select the state or territory in which the company is to be registered from the drop-down list and progress to the next question. ASIC needs to know the type of company you are registering. A company that will only be the trustee of a superannuation fund or a not-for-profit company. If the answer is yes, the constitution provided will be customized to reflect this. It is at this point that you will also need to click the checkbox, agreeing that the company will only be the trustee of a regulated SMSF. If the answer is no, you will need to indicate whether the company will be a not-for-profit company. Should the company be a not-for-profit company, you'll need to indicate whether the company is a trustee of a public or private ancillary fund. You can specify the name of the ancillary fund. Click on the checkbox to proceed. In this instance, we are selecting No to the not-for-profit company question. It is a good idea to save your document as you move through the question interface. Next is the address section. In this section, you'll be asked to provide address and trading details of your new company. You can use the copy address functionality where provided in order to duplicate address details already entered. ASIC's electronic company registration system uses AusPost's database to match the addresses provided and will not accept anything other than an exact duplicate match. ASIC does not accept floor level and building name unless it appears on AusPost's database, so you should avoid such details wherever possible. First, complete the address details for the company's registered office. Sometimes a company does not occupy the registered office address. If this is the case, you will need to confirm that the occupier of the address has consented to the company using their address as the company's registered office. Next, specify whether the company's principal place of business is the same as the registered office. If the answer is no, complete the address fields for the principal place of business. The next section collects information about company officers, including directors, company secretary, and public officers. The first question relates to the number of people consenting to act as directors. Click the drop-down box to select a number. The interface deals with each director one at a time, so please answer all those questions. Enter personal details for the director. In the date of birth field, you can use the date picker to select the date of birth of the director. Or should you choose to enter the date of birth manually, remember to use the exact double-digit format for day and month and 4 digits for the year. Now enter the director's residential address. The next set of questions relate to the director's roles within the company. Indicate whether the person will consent to being the public officer. Indicate the public officer's address for service. Indicate whether the person is consenting to act as secretary. Indicate whether this person is going to be a shareholder. By law, the company is required to issue at least 1 share. The number of shares and price per share is at your discretion. If your directors will not hold shares or there are additional shareholders, this is another section for you to complete once your director questions are complete. The interface will display some additional questions relating to shares. Indicate whether these shares will be held by the director on trust, and if so, you may specify the name of the person, entity, or trust on whose behalf the shares will be held. If you require more information on the rights and restrictions attached to each class of shares, you can refer to Schedule 1 in the sample company registration document. The sample is available on the product information page on our website. Next, indicate the classes, number, and price of shares the director is applying for. Indicate whether any non-directors will be a secretary. If you choose yes, you are required to indicate the number of non-directors consenting to act as a secretary and specify their personal, birth, and address details in the same way you did for director or directors. In this case, the answer is no. The next section relates to company shares held by additional entities. You can choose to issue shares to additional people, organizations, and joint shareholdings in this section. In the first question, indicate the number of additional people other than directors of the company holding shares. Indicate the number of organizations or companies holding shares. In the next question, indicate if there are any jointly held shareholdings. If an entity is holding shares for themselves and also on behalf of another entity, then they must be counted twice. In this instance, we'll select 1 joint shareholding. You can only specify individuals as joint shareholders. Specify the details for the joint shareholders in the same way you did for directors and other office holders in the Officers section. Enter details for joint holder 1. Now enter details for joint holder 2. Indicate whether these shares are to be held on trust, and if so, you can choose to enter the name of the person, entity, or trust on whose behalf the shares will be held. For example, if you'd like a unit trust to hold shares in the company and the trust has 2 individual trustees, you can enter the individual trustees as joint holder 1 and 2 and click Yes. Indicate the number of shares, price paid, and price owing per share for the joint shareholding. In the next question, indicate whether the company will have an ultimate holding company. If you would like to know more about this, please read the help text. In this instance, we will select No. Move to the Constitution section. This allows you to customize your company's constitution document. Indicate whether on a poll, each member of the company is to have only 1 vote or 1 vote for each fully paid share. Next, if the company decides to issue shares, specify whether it is to offer them to members first. If a member decides to sell shares, indicate whether they are to offer them to other members first. The meeting section is used to generate minutes of meeting documentation included in the Cleardocs document package. Indicate whether the first meeting of directors will appoint a managing director, whether the first meeting of directors will appoint an auditor. If you choose Yes, you can specify a name for the auditing firm, whether the bank account details and mandate forms will be ready for the first meeting of directors, whether the company will adopt a common seal. Confirm whether the first meeting of directors will approve the reimbursements of expenses incurred in promoting and forming the company. Select who will be signing the share certificates. Indicate how the first meeting of directors will be held. In this instance, since it is a sole director structure, we will choose Circulated Resolution. Also confirm the date of resolution. This will need to be today's date or a date in the future. ASIC needs to know who is applying for this company. Indicate who the signatory is. This needs to be a director. Indicate the date of signing. This will need to be today's date. Next, move to the fulfillment section. In this section, you are to state the details of the person or organization creating the documents. This person's details will appear on the cover page of the documents. You can choose to use the details as stored in your profile by selecting Yes or No and enter new details. In this instance, we will select Yes. In the Company Minutes and Resolutions section, you can choose to buy the Company Minutes and Resolutions package at a 15% discount off the regular price of $77. Indicate this by answering Yes or No. In the Printing section, you can choose to order printing and binding for an additional $49.50. We will choose No in this instance. At the bottom of this page, click Save and Exit to save your session and exit the application without lodging. You can also click Save and Continue if your application is ready for lodgement. In this instance, we will click Save and Continue. Check your answers on the summary page. At the bottom of the page, you can select Exit if you don't want to pay and lodge your registration now, or click Pay Now to proceed to the payment page. You will be required to pay in 2 steps. First, you'll need to pay the Cleardocs fees. Once that part is processed, you can then pay the ASIC fee. As soon as the payment for ASIC is processed, the registration will be lodged with ASIC, and you will be redirected to the My Documents page, where the status of your order will say Lodged. ASIC's electronic system takes about 20 minutes to process the application. You will be notified via email to advise of registration. Should you require further information on company registration, please visit our website or call our customer helpline on 1300 307 343.